Hey guys, how are you? Hope you're all having a fantastic evening. Tonight I'm going to be doing a review of a prison film from Spain, Spanish language English subs, released in the year 2009, directed by Daniel Monzon, and this movie is called Cell 211. And the story to Cell 211 is as follows. During a tour of a prison, newly appointed guard Juan gets caught on the inside when a riot breaks out and prisoners seize control. His only means of survival is to pose as a new inmate and gain the trust of ferocious ringleader Malamadre. The two form an unwitting bond, but as the situation becomes more critical, their options grow more limited. Each man takes an opposing side of hope. One has everything to live for, while the other one faces life behind bars. Trapped between callous officials and bloodthirsty prisoners, Juan finds his former identity crumbling as the standoff moves toward an enthralling showdown. So the movie is set in this prison in Spain. A new guard. It's his first day on the job at this new prison. His name is Juan. He has a baby on the way. He's got a beautiful young wife. So he has everything to live for. And he's very excited about starting this new job. His wife didn't want him to go in on this particular day, but he wanted to start early to get into it. So he gets to the prison, and on the first day there is a riot that breaks out. And this prison guard, thankfully he wasn't in his prison uniform because it was his first day, he gets caught in the middle of this riot, and he is trapped on the inside when the prisoners seize control. Now, fortunately for Juan, the prisoners haven't picked up that this guy is a prison guard, because the prisoners, they don't have a prison uniform, they're wearing everyday clothes. So luckily Juan is wearing his everyday clothes, therefore he can blend in. So his idea is to pose as one of the inmates, because if they find out he's a prison guard, they're going to kill him. So he is trying desperately to get help from the outside to get released or try and get out of there, but no one can come and save him because the situation's too critical. So he becomes introduced to Malamadre. He's the ringleader behind this riot, the guy in the front there. And Malamadre and his friends, they're very vicious, and they will kill anybody who they feel is going to betray them. So the prisoners don't believe that Juan is one of them, so they take him to Malamadre. To start with, Malamadre is very skeptical. He doesn't believe him, but as the movie progresses, Malamadre, he learns to gain trust of Juan, and they end up becoming close. But there is always that paranoia in Juan's mind that his cover could be blown at any minute. So he's trying desperately to get help from the outside, but outside poses problems in itself. So there is a real dilemma for Juan, and whether or not he makes it out of this ordeal alive, that's something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with a synopsis. Now, my thoughts on the movie. This is not just another prison movie. You know, a lot of prison movies go down a stereotypical sort of way, where, you know, prison riots, and it's basically the prisoners trying to save themselves before the police force come in and take it by force. So that's the kind of story that I was expecting in this one, but that's not the story I got. I got something so much deeper than I was expecting, which really pleasantly surprised me and made me enjoy the film so much more. This is really about people caught in a desperate situation and what desperation can do to us as people. We can lose our identity, and we just are so desperate to basically survive a situation that we're willing to do anything, and whether or not that's going totally against the person that you are. In the case of this film, Juan, he's a very pleasant man, but as the movie progresses and he's forced to adapt to the lifestyle of these prisoners who are very vicious, he starts to become vicious, and you can really feel sympathy for him because, you know, this guy had so much to live for, but it was just a case of being caught at the wrong place at the wrong time, which, you know, could happen to anybody. And the film is very realistic, and it does take a very depressing sort of approach. This is not a film that will make you feel good, so be very careful going into it. You cannot be in a depressed mood because typical of foreign cinema, it really is downbeat, very realistic, and, you know, it's not necessarily going to guarantee a happy ending. So if you like that kind of film, you like the way foreign movies are as far as high impact is concerned, this movie is one of the better prison films out there. Now, cinematography was excellent. There was nothing overused. The director wasn't full of himself. He knew exactly what his limits were, and he played to those limits perfectly. Nothing fancy, just a very dreary camera shots, which really suited the actual film. It's a prison movie. It's not supposed to be glorious or glorifying anything, it doesn't glorify anything, thankfully. The violence is very realistic, very hard to watch in some areas. It's not excessive, but when it happens, it really is hard to watch. And the character development, I really like the way that Malamadre at the start of the film is evil. Juan at the start of the film is the good guy. But as the movie progresses, you see a softer side to Malamadre. So they're real people, and I actually thought the director did a good job at giving the viewer time to connect with each character. So initially, your first impression of Malamadre, it kind of changes as the movie goes on, and you kind of feel that maybe his life was hard done by in some areas. So while it's not condoning his behaviour, it's giving you a reason, and that's something that I feel all films should do, because in the real world, even the worst of people can be have some good in them, because sometimes the situation forces us to be the people that we are, and that's what the film does. And especially for Juan's character, the situation he is in, it forces him to take a different road than what he usually would go for. So it is about situations changing the people that we are. Acting, fantastic acting. I thought Malamadre on the front there, he was one of the best villains I've seen, because he's not your stereotypical villain. It's not black and white. He is not all evil. Yes, he is a very vicious and very violent man, but he does have some likable qualities, and it's a quality that you can see when the relationship between Juan and Malamadre, it goes more than just an acquaintance. It kind of goes into a friendship, which is something that I wasn't expecting. But it shows the human side of everybody, and that to me is what a real film is all about. The soundtrack, once again, it wasn't going over the top. It was very subdued, and I thought it contributed to the more impact that the film had. And then the ending really gobsmacked me. I wasn't expecting the ending. It's an extremely unpredictable ending. I wasn't expecting it to go the way it was, and it just had so much more of an impact. Usually a lot of these sorts of films, the ending really ruins it, but in this case the ending was just the icing on the cake. All in all, a fantastic movie. If I was going to give it one criticism, yes, it is a very unpredictable film, but it really did feel like an undercover sort of police film. Yes, Juan wasn't an undercover cop, but it's the undercover sort of idea where your cover could be blown at any minute. So while that was what made the film so good, it wasn't the most unique storyline ever. But it didn't need to be unique, so yeah, that is not a big negative. So yeah, throughout the film, the suspense levels are through the roof. At any minute, Juan's cover could be blown, and you really feel that Malamadre is on the verge of finding out, and you really have grave fear for Juan's well-being. And then you see on the outside is just as bad on the inside, which goes to show that bad things don't only exist in the prison. There are actually outside, there are some bad people as well. So you don't really feel safe in or outside of this prison. And as I said, it's just a movie about tragedy of circumstance, and I thought that the movie does it a lot better than a lot of movies that are very similar to this one. So all in all, I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. I thought this was very good, and if you like prison films, then I am highly recommending you go out there and check this one out, as long as you don't mind reading subtitles. So 4 stars, it is definitely coming recommended. Alright guys, that's my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, take care of yourselves, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later. Bye.